Okay, welcome to a little talk, reflection today. Thought I would talk about the subject of generosity today, and again just on reflection of my own life, just seeing how much of a difference when we can really be generous, it makes a big shift in how we feel. A lot of us have, for example, very little time, and therefore we feel, well, I can't volunteer or I can't give to others, and so we don't. Or, for example, we don't feel we've got much disposable income, so if we are asked to donate or to give money, we don't. We hold on to it. Now, the principle, certainly on the money side of things, is essentially it originated with tithing, but probably earlier than that, with the principle about us giving 10% of our income, but giving from a real space of generosity, giving from a real space of love and openness. And there's a book out there called Seed Money, which essentially is talking about when we give 10% from our heart spaces, then it comes back to us 10 times. So we give, say, £10, then from an unexpected source, we would receive £100, $100 in return. What we do in modern day life is, although we give, we don't give of a generous heart. We don't give from our heart space. We give because we have to, or there's a sense of duty. And just with that, it means the energy doesn't really flow. We're not giving unconditionally. We give because we have to. There's a duty to it. And although on one level that is still okay to give from that space, what we're really looking for is to give, to be generous with an unconditional heart, to give without expectation of return. So even if it's 50p, even if it's 50 cents, a dollar, even if it is just to give from that open heart space, it makes a real difference in life when we are generous. We allow money to flow. What we've learnt to do in the West, and I certainly have and can be like that, is hold on to money rather than letting it flow. And I was just reflecting today about generosity, about allowing money, allowing our energy of generosity to flow. See, a lot of us have so much. We are in a society, certainly in the West, and globally now as well, where we have a feeling of lack, that we don't have enough, when in reality, when we stop and we're very present, we realise how much we do have. The places we live, the health we have, the things we take for granted, like the sun shining or the having green leaves. For me, springtime. It's a wonderful time when all the plants and the seeds are coming up. And sometimes we can feel, because we are in this society which says you need more, you need this, you need that, and when we don't have it, it's like, oh, I don't have enough money. And reality is that we do. And when we connect in with that generosity and we're able to give, even if it's a little bit, it kind of makes us appreciate that. So one of the things I've been doing today, and one of the things I do on a Friday, is I volunteer with Scouts, and I look after the older end, so the explorers, that's 15 to 18, and also sometimes we'll help out at the local soup kitchen. And it's something that my wife's been involved with for a few years, and it's just lovely seeing people's generosity, how people give of their time, give of their love, and their, to cook the food, and the local companies give their produce to share to people who don't necessarily have the money. And what I see is that although some people might not have the money to be generous on that level, you can give of your time. And I think it's very important. I think it's, I read a book by John Haricharan, I believe you say it. It's saying about, although he was very poor in his life, he always tried to give. And I think one of the stories I heard him, he was talking about that he was on his way to buy a loaf of bread for his children, and he had very little money. He had like $5 on him, and that was all the money he had. And he didn't really know what to do, so I really don't have any money at the moment. So he went off to the shops, and while he was there, he saw someone really in need who was struggling even more than him. So he gave him the $5. But it was like he trusted in his heart to be generous. And what happened was he then carried on driving, and he drove to the supermarket, or he drove to another shop. And when he turned up in the supermarket car park, he opened the door, and I believe this is a story, I can't remember it completely, is he found $50 on the floor. There was no one else around. And it's this, when we trust the universe, I think the thing about generosity is we don't really trust. I say, I don't have enough, I can't give away anything because I don't have enough. And it's not true. When we truly have faith, when we trust in ourselves and in life, that this is an abundant universe, there's an infinite supply, as Wallace Wattles talks about it in The Science of Getting Rich, which is quoted a lot in The Secret. There is an infinite supply of energy around us, and sometimes we don't trust that in the West. It's like, I don't have enough, and we do. And by being generous, by giving of our time to a charity, or helping someone across the road, or if you're in London, just stopping, and if you're in a tube station, look around, see who actually needs a hand getting up and down the stairs, or maybe a lady needs a hand with the pram or whatever, and ask. We're in our world, we feel we don't have time, we don't have money, we don't have the means to give, when the reality is we do. We do have these things, but because we're not present, we don't stop. So this reflection for today is stop. Well, how can you give? Maybe it's a smile, or maybe a laugh. Maybe it's giving of your love, giving a hug, giving something. Because when we're really generous, not because we want or we're expecting it, but the world just flows its love back to us, its joy back to us. There's an abundance of fruit and flowers. I spend a lot of time gardening now. The universe just like, yeah, here you go, here you go, here you go. And it's like, wow, thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, reflection is you're an amazing being. You're such a wonderful, shiny being, and it's always such an honour to share with you. So thank you for your time, your love, and keep giving to this world. Keep overflowing your love and your generosity. So may you be well.